Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Optimization in Civil Engineering. So far we have discussed about the multivariable optimization problems, and also before that we had discussed about the single variable optimization problem. When we discussed about the multivariable optimization problem with constraints, we found that the process becomes intense and requires a lot of effort to solve. In this particular type of problem, we also saw that the objective function also have certain equality and inequality constraints. There are many engineering problems where the objective function is a very simple linear function, as well as the constraints are also a linear function. In those cases, we can actually solve using the linear programming problem. From your undergraduate program, you might be already knowing about the linear programming problem. In this particular course, we'll be just touching little bit on the linear programming problem and some of the details which you might not have covered or might not got a chance to go through during your undergraduate curriculum. If our problem, the objective function and the constraints are all linear, then we need to use such method. Even in case of certain complex multivariable objective function with nonlinearity are converted into the linear function with reasonable assumption and solve that problem using the linear programming problem. For the multivariable constraint optimization problem, there is one method actually which convert the objective function into a linear form and then use this method to solve. However, that is not covered in our last lecture, but your understanding of the linear programming problem is going to help in future if you want to come across such approximation of the nonlinear function. So let us understand more about the linear programming in today's lecture. In a linear programming problem, the objective function and the constraints are expected to be a linear function. For that, we need to first understand what can be defined as a linear function. A function is a linear function if and only if for some constants such as c1, c2, cn, the function is represented by a form which is shown here. If you notice in this form, we have the x values of power 1 only, and the constants are multiplied to each of these variables. In this format, we can say that a function which is written in this way is going to be a linear function of x1 and x2. However, a function which is written in this format is not. So let us explore the properties of the linear function. The linear function should have the proportionality property, which means the contribution of each variable to the objective function value is proportional to the value of the variable. In an objective function, let us go back to the one which we had here. The objective function value, which is going to be this, is going to be the proportional value of each of the variable which we have. It is very clear, we can see in this case all are proportional. If x increases, this is going to increase in the same proportion. It doesn't ensure that if the variables are multiplied with one another, for example, in this case, the objective function value is going to proportionally increase or decrease based on the variable we choose. So the proportionality parameter does not ensure that factor. For that reason, it also needs to follow the additive property, which indicates that the contribution of any variable to the objective function value is independent of other variable. So if we are using this particular function, it is no longer going to be independent. For this reason, we cannot say it as a linear function. Rather, it is a non-linear. But if we represent this function as fx1 plus fx2, then definitely x1 is not dependent on x2 or x2 is not dependent on x1, and we can say that it is a linear function, and that is what this property indicates. The next property which it should follow is the divisibility. So the decision variable can take the fraction values. So the design variable or the decision variable we have, it can be divided by any number, and if we divide it, it will also get the, or it will also have the fraction. The next property is related to the certainty, which means each parameter of the program or objective function coefficient, right hand side of the constraint and the coefficient of the constraint are exactly known with certainty. If there is any uncertainty, that is not going to be considered as linear function. A function, if you are looking into, or particularly in the constraint, we need to have the value with certainty. So inequality constraints are not considered or are going to lead to uncertainty. Hence, in a linear programming, we cannot have the inequality constraint. Rather, it has to be converted into the equality constraint. We'll talk about this again when we get into the problem formulation. Before we get into those details, let us look into some of the basic terminologies which you might be already aware of based on the multivariable optimization or single variable optimization, nonlinear programming, which we have done earlier. So the first terminology is about the feasible solution. So the feasible solution is the solution for which all the constraints are satisfied, whereas the feasible region is the region within which the feasible solution lies. So all the feasible solution altogether is going to develop the feasible region, or in other words, it's a collection of all feasible solutions. The solution which is not feasible is known as infeasible solution, and in this case at least one of the constraint is going to be violated. We also need to know the optimum solution. It is like the nonlinear programming problem or nonlinear optimization problem. In those cases also we were finding the optimum solution. So an optimum solution is a feasible solution with the most favorable value of the objective function. In case of linear programming, we may also have multiple solutions. So the multiple solution we can obtain when the objective function coincides with a constraint, and in that case all the points on the line within the feasible region are optimal points. We'll explain this with an example at a later stage in today's class. So a linear programming problem can have one optimal solution, multiple optimal solutions, or no optimal solution. We'll talk about these conditions after a while. Let us first look into the linear programming through an example. Today we are going to discuss about a problem where a manufacturing company manufactures doors and windows. A door is sold for $27 and it uses $10 worth of raw material, that is wood or any glue or anything which is required. Now each door that is manufactured increases the company's variable labor and overhead cost by $14. The same company is also manufacturing window, and these windows are sold for $21 and require $9 worth of raw materials, and it increases company's variable labor and overhead cost by $10. Now this company required to manufacture these wooden doors and windows which require two types of skilled labor. One is for the carpentry and another is for the finishing job. So if you know, when someone is doing the carpentry, they need to do some finishing job at the end. So basic carpentry and the finishing, which includes painting, leveling or grinding on the surface to make it smooth, and then painting, all those things. Now a door requires 2 hours of finishing and 1 hour of carpentry labor, whereas a window requires 1 hour of finishing and 1 hour of carpentry labor. Each week the company can obtain all the needed raw material, so there is no constraint in the raw material supply, but there is a constraint related to the number of hours. So only 100 finishing hours and 80 carpentry hours are possible. This is coming from the manpower limitation, and that is why it is been implemented. Now in this situation, we also need to know what is the demand in the market. It is found that the demand for the windows is unlimited, but at most 40 doors are bought each week. So with this basic information, if the company wants to maximize their weekly profit, which includes the revenue minus the cost, then how should we solve this particular problem? If you look into all the aspect, it is a linear optimization problem, and we need to formulate it and then solve it. So first of all, let us see how we can represent the data. So we have doors and windows. The selling price of the door is $27, window is $21. The raw material required for a door is $10 and for a window is $9. The variable cost for labor and overhead in case of door is $14 and window is $10. We also know that a door requires 2 hours of finishing job and 1 hour of carpentry work. On the other hand, window requires 1 hour of finishing job and 1 hour of carpentry work. Overall, in a week, the company can afford 100 hours of finishing job and 80 hours of carpentry job. This is coming from the manpower constraint. Now demand for the windows, as we had said, is unlimited, but the demand for the door is not. It's going to be maximum 40. So with this basic information, now we have to look for the problem formulation. For this purpose, let us say our decision variable or the design variables are the number of doors, which is represented as XD, and the number of windows, which is represented as XW. The constraint which we had said is on the door. So the doors sold per week is at most or the maximum as 40. So we are saying the number of doors are going to be less equal to 40. The carpentry hours, if you recall, for door as well as for the window, we require 1 hour each. So if we add up the number of doors we are manufacturing and the windows we are manufacturing, altogether it should not cross the 80 carpentry hours allocated or available to the company. Coming to the finishing hours, for the door we require 2 hours and the window we require 1 hour. So if we are looking into the total hours, 2 times the door and 1 times the window, total hours available for finishing is 100, so it should not cover or cross the 100 hours, and it should not be non-negative, or all the values should be positive. For that reason, we have to say that xt and xw are going to be greater equal to 0. So with this understanding, again let us look into the objective function. So objective function, we want to maximize the weekly profit, which is represented by the revenue minus cost. And the profit, if we see per door, the revenue which we are earning is by selling it, which is $27. We need $10 of raw material and $14 of overhead and labor cost. So we need to subtract the raw material and the labor and overhead cost. So these are my cost component. It is going to give me the actual profit. Likewise, if you are looking for the window, this is my sale price, this is the raw material cost, and this is the labor and overhead cost. So once we deduct the cost from the revenue earned, we get this as the profit. So for each door, we are going to have $3 as the profit. So the number of doors we are selling, if we are multiply with that, that is the total profit we are going to obtain from the door. Likewise, if we multiply the number of windows sold with 2, that is the total profit we are going to obtain from the window. Now this we can use to mathematically represent as a maximization of function fx, where we want to maximize this, subject to the number of doors are not going to be anything more than 40. So this, the number of hours required to manufacture door and window total in the carpentry is going to be 80 or less, and for the finishing is going to be 100 or less. And in any case, the door and the window is never going to be a negative number for practical reason. So we have to say these are greater equal to 0. So this is my objective function for the problem. We do have inequality constraint, and if we try to solve, then we'll find that the optimum value or number of doors that should be manufactured per week is going to be 20. The windows is going to be 60, and the total profit is going to be this value. There are various techniques to solve this. Today we are going to discuss about the graphical method or graphical solution. In the graphical solution, we first have to draw the axis representing the decision variable or the design variable. So we have it for the door and for the window. So if we call this one as for the door and this one for the window, then we represent each constraint in the graph and find the feasible solution. So we said per week the total number of doors are going to be maximum 40. So irrespective of the windows, we say the number of doors are here, this is the line. So any point on this side are going to be feasible, so this side is not going to work. So it sets one boundary. Then the other one we said about the total time required is not going to cross 80. So that is represented by this particular line. So if you see this line, then it is clear that we cannot have the solution anywhere on this side. So we can always say this is infeasible region. Considering the carpentry work. Now considering the finishing time, the limitation which we have, that can be represented by this particular line, and this side is the infeasible region. Since we said less equal to, so this is the maximum value it can go, all the points or all the solution on the other side of this line are feasible. So looking into the three conditions, we say that all these regions are feasible. This gray region is a feasible region. Now we also said xt cannot be less than 0 or xw cannot be less than 0, which means negative number of door, negative number of windows are not possible. So again, these lines or these regions are infeasible. So we have a very clear feasible region which can be represented by this line which I am drawing. And which is also indicated by this gray color or gray shade.